Her nose is too wide. Her lips is too big. Her hair is too coarse. And she's being made fun of. If Michelle Obama serves as a beacon of light or hope to uplift that child's spirits, to make her not kill herself, to instill some self-esteem, are we that comfortable as Black people that we're going to denounce the importance of that symbolism? Are we there?
I could not agree with you more. And I think that when people say dumbass shit like that, what I'll say to them is the most educated segment of the population in the United States of America is Black women. The most entrepreneurial, the most they have the most optimism toward the future, and they have that because they saw something. And I think that when people, it's so selfish, like when I hear people say, what am I going to get if I vote? Or what? Things are more than just about you. Things are past you. Legacies are about what you do, not for you and the now, but for someone else and the later. And I absolutely agree with you. And I think that where I'm not formally educated. I don't, there are a lot of things, machinations I don't understand or go through. I think that it is foolhardy to believe that discourse, that my perspective is the only one that matters and that discourse isn't healthy. I think it is. I think that what you're saying and doing right now is very helpful. And it's decidedly different from who I knew you to be. Like when we first started out, you're not the same kid you were. So it's hard for me to hear this bullshit from you. But I can tell you this.
Well,
I can tell you this. I can tell Paul Mooney would be proud of you. Like I can tell that Paul Mooney would be proud of you right now.
I'm proud of that nigga, because that nigga knows it's freedom time. All of you niggas have been fooled by that goddamn Popeye's chicken sandwich. All of you niggas stand in line for that sandwich. You've lost yourself. You've lost your way. God damn it. These white folks love it when niggas go. They love it. Let me just say, Dia, and let me just say, again, let me go back to the Obama point, because I've spoken on this passionately, and I've caught a lot of shit.
Right, you have. Folks. Right.
And I almost wish you would also, and I hope in this opportunity, you say something. Because again, when we publicly shit on Obama,
absolutely,
for the racist white people that don't like him for the real reason they don't like him, we now give them the opportunity to go,
I think you're absolutely right.
His own people don't like him. So why should I? Knowing that's not the reason you don't like him. So whatever it is, Black people, whatever discrepancy we have with what Obama may have done or not done, let's keep what going on in our community, like Black on Black crime, in our locker room.
I think you're absolutely right. Here's where I disagree. I think that the phrase Black on Black crime is a symbol of self-hatred. I think that is.
I agree too.
It is.
I'm just telling you what to say.
It is believing that we are somehow deviant. Crime is about proximity. People around people kill people around people. In terms of Obama, I don't think we're so fragile. Like, I really believe that America has, this is my personal opinion, America never deserved a man who comported himself as well in that office as he has. You can't think of a modern president in the last 40 years that didn't have some level of scandal. He loved this country and the idea of it, and he was aspirational enough to,
and still does.
And so, but where I differ from you is my estimation of him doesn't change based on somebody else's circumstances, and his legacy isn't so fragile that some people not agreeing with it will erode it. He will stand the test of time because he was an exemplary man and did an exemplary thing. There's not one human being that's being objective that can compare his legacy to Donald Trump's legacy and not see a better human being, a better president, and a better American. Right. So but I think that those kinds of arguments fall on their face, and they don't necessarily need me to kind of guide them through it. They don't need me to do it.
Well, let me ask you this, and again, this is where I will disagree with you.
Sure.
We
are having the friendliest disagreement
I was about to say.
They do need you.
A lot of
but let me
bass in
ask you, do you think when they go, what did Barack do for us? Do you think he did something for us?
I think that he did. I think he did. He passed the most most forward-thinking legislation in modern American history, the Affordable Health Care Act. Not only did he do something for us as black people, he did something for the American public. Like the people right now who are dying right now, who are struggling right now and dealing with the very pandemic he also had the foresight to prepare America for things that weren't even there. So had people followed his example, if Donald Trump weren't trying to destroy everything Obama did and learn from him, because I think that's all of us, we have an obligation to learn from the people who did it before, we wouldn't be in this pandemic right now. Had he not disbanded some of the things that Obama done, had he not been trying to erode his legacy and tried to learn from him. So I think that he loved America so much he thought of it not just in the now, he thought of it in the future. He gave America life insurance.
But you know what? Also, but from the very
black people that are listening, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
To the black people that are listening, Obama was the president of the country, not the culture.
Absolutely.
So, this notion that he was supposed to get up there and just serve as black people would have been detrimental to the next black president, because it would have fed white people an excuse to go, you see, just like we thought. He gonna look out for just them.
I don't know.
I think he did a fantastic job.
I think he did a spectacular job. I think he's not without his foibles. I think he did some things I didn't necessarily agree with, but there's no doubt that he comported himself with decency and respect, and he elevated the office of the presidency. But I don't think I'm not one of those cats who watches a black dude do something and owns it. I don't go, look, he's making us all look bad. I think that we're not a monolith. We're not one group of people. How can one man speak for a race that got Lil Boosie and Barack Obama? You know what I'm saying? We can't. So I just think that we are more resilient than and not as fragile where somebody can say a thing about it. If we can survive slavery, if we can survive Jim Crow, if we can survive the passing across an ocean chain together, we can survive people disagreeing and not necessarily understanding our plight. We will still be here anyway. That's just my idea of it. I think that we are much more resilient than people are necessarily ready to accept.
Welcome back to D.L. Hughley Uncut. Still hanging out with Aries Spears.
This motherfucker won't leave.
He won't leave.
It's a good thing we ain't on broadcast television. We'd have been. I just got to tell you, I'm very, I think we have one, like if we're taking a trip to San Francisco and I want to fly and you want to drive, we all still get there. We just take different routes. I just am very proud of the kind of not only entertainer but human being you evolved to, and I definitely understand and appreciate your passion. So it's not, it's just a question of me having a different kind of outlet, a different kind of line of sight than you do.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I was going to say back earlier when you said to see where I've evolved, what I've evolved into versus where I was when I first started. I remember you and I did a show together. It was actually me, you, and Michael Collier in Detroit. And we were all young.
Yeah.
I don't think really any of us had too much money.
Right.
But you certainly had more than me. I was a teenager.
Right.
And when we landed in Detroit, the first place you wanted to go to was the swap meet and get some rings.
Yeah.
I remember you being there buying gold rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this nigga got money. So there we go.
Hey, man, I love you. I'm proud of you. You keep up the fight, man. And you keep making people.
You're
going back on the road pretty soon, right? You got to get out here and see what's happening, huh? Kick the tires.
I hope so, man.
You will.
I hope so, because this quarantine shit is bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope so. And for the record, let me just say, and I've been saying it, to Mike Epps, if he sees this, I got nothing but love and respect for Mike. The last thing I'm trying to do is beef with Mike. And I've always had a very polarizing personality.
No, not you, nigga, not you. No.
And listen, I've been called everything from bitter, angry, to a hater.
That sounds more like Paul Mooney. That sounds more like Paul Mooney.
I'm a bitter, angry nigga than Mike Epps. Niggas angry. I just have passionate opinions about things. And either I say things that most people want to say but are too afraid to say, or just the fact that I have an opinion when I'm just supposed to shut up and tell jokes, rub people the wrong way.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure it all out.
Not me, man. Let me tell you something. That's my argument. I think people are entitled to their perspectives, and they are entitled to have them without being guided or kind of negated or poo-pooed, or people tell them. I think you're bright. I think you see the world differently than a lot of people, and I think that's why you are who you are, and that's why I'm glad you're around, man. I think I promise you. I think we're a better art form because we have young cats like you. Well, not young. You're not young anymore because you got to get a prostate examination like everybody else. But I'm glad you're still here, man. I love you, man. Thank you for checking in.
I appreciate it. And as always, people, thank you. Check out the Spears and Steinberg podcast. DM me on Instagram, and I'll send you the direct link.
For sure, man. Holler at you later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
gonna be us. We can drink and talk shit as much as we want. Nobody can say anything to it. D.L. Hughley Uncut. Hey, welcome to D.L. Hughley Uncut. I am, of course, D.L. Hughley. We have Jasmine Sanders, DJ Luchin in the booth, looking like Luke Cage.
The booth in the booth.
Luke Cage. There he is. Woody.
Woodums.
Kyle Hughley. How you doing, baby boy?
I'm doing all right. Pretty
All
good.
right. One thing I find interesting, that even in the midst of a pandemic, we find a way to be quintessentially American.
Yes.
Like, there is this argument, where, aid is really scarce. Like, we don't have a national plan to deal with this pandemic. Like, it's catch as can. You're on your own.
Well, we don't have a leader. That's what that is.
And that really is. And of course, power abhors a vacuum, and people are gonna find a way to lead. I think the governors of this country have done, some of them, whether they're Republican or, I think you got to look at New York, you got to look at Maryland, you got to look at Ohio, you got to look at Michigan, you got to look at Oregon, Washington. Colorado, you got to look at California.
Shout out to Gavin.
You got Gavin Newsom,
Shout out to
California.
Gavin.
I do wish I lived in a red state because they don't give a fuck about their people, and I at least be going to. I can at least go to a restaurant right now.
Yeah,
But
and they're proud of it, though.
they are
Proud of it.
But this argument, kind of flies in the face of what we always say, like how Americans all come together. Mm-hmm. But there's Trump and McConnell, who are now, the president and the Senate Majority Leader, have this whole blue state, red state thing, and they want to, like McConnell suggested that we should let some states
file
go
for
bankrupt.
There you go.
But you from Kentucky, motherfucker. You from Kentucky.
Let him know.
Look, thanks for your horses, your basketball, and your tobacco, but fuck off.
But somebody should say that to him.
Somebody just did.
Well, come on.
Nobody will hear it.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody should say that to him. The fact that they listened to that and they even debated it. And some people were like, well, maybe it wouldn't have been a bad idea.
Here's
Are you
the problem.
kidding?
We exist, the United States of America. The difference between us and a third world country is blue states.
That's literally it.
That's it. You could take New York pays a lot more than they get back. So do California. So does Connecticut. So does New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So these are blue states that pay a lot more than that. We are the Oprah to y'all Stedman.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
But this notion that we are all in this together, when even at a time like this, we're divided along political lines, and you can see it all the time. When Hurricane Sandy hit, there was a reticence to give them the aid that they needed. But you let a hurricane happen in Florida and Texas, everybody, you know what you always see? You see Florida strong. You see Texas strong.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever see California strong. You never see New York strong. Because nobody ever feels sorry for them.
Not at all. You remember what Trump said when all of the California fires.
Right.
And he said something stupid like, you should sweep the floor in the forest. What the hell are you talking about?
Literally, it's places that this country would not exist. You could take a few states you could take a few states in the South. You could take Mississippi, Alabama, and West Virginia. You could put them together, right? And they wouldn't have the population that New York does, or the wealth, or the education. The money. Shut up take your government assistance and stop playing in the big boy chair.
Or let us leave.
But the interesting thing about that is knowing that everyone, it's no secret when you look at the statistics when it comes to education, healthcare, all of those things, economics, knowing the things that we know about that particular area of the country, why do we let them lead?
Because
why do we follow? Why do we listen?
Because America's the Flintstones and the Jeffersons, and the Flintstones are in charge.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to go to space, and we're trying to drive cars, and these like with no driver, and they still trying to stop cars with their feet.
Yeah,
it's just at a time like this. We are supposed. It's like a team. Imagine a team that a football team, a basketball team, where they go, well, I scored all my points, and we lost because of you. You'll never be a champion unless you can play and win away games.
Right.
You got to win away. You got to win in situations that are dire, in situations that are hostile. And every time there's a situation like that in this nation that I'm aware of, it always seems to diverge and devolve to this. And it's always been bad. Let's not pretend like that this time or administration is responsible for it. But this takes a particular patina that I don't know that I've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have.
I know I haven't.
I'm embarrassed by it.
Well, you haven't seen anything.
I
You're
know that.
7.
I know I haven't.
Yeah.
You're 7.
But that's a sad thing. Is
You
that a lot of
didn't
people
see
don't realize
Atari
it.
either, so fuck what you talking about.
But I tell you this, looking back at what we had with Obama, there are a lot of people who criticize him, a lot of people who say that he didn't deliver what he promised. But I tell you what, looking back at the way he led the country and looking back at his presidency, you've said this 1,000 times. I couldn't agree more, and that is we didn't deserve him.
Well, no,
No.
America didn't.
We didn't deserve him.
He care. Listen, look at the leaders who you see care about their people, and I don't care what political stripe. I think DeWine in Ohio. I think Hogan in Maryland are two. They're Republican, but they are doing an exemplary job. You could look at Michigan's governor Gretchen. You can look at Oregon. You can look at Washington. You can look at California. You can look at Colorado. Look at the people who seem like they care about their people. You can look at Cuomo and. Like this dude, in addition to, he looks like a leader. When you have a leader that says all the glory is mine, but none of the fault, the problem is this, that if you listen to what Trump says, he's responsible for everything great that happened and nothing bad, right? And that he's done everything right. But if you've done everything right, then why do you need to change everything?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to change anything? If everything you've done has been perfect and exemplary, then and 1 million people got it, and now before this is all done, there may be upwards of 100,000 Americans who are dead. If you've done everything right, then why is there a need to change, and what do you learn from that? If you've done everything right, what are we going to learn from the worst pandemic in modern history?
Well, what you can't do is throw out the number of people who died and then say that you did everything right. That in and of itself doesn't even go in the same sentence.
And if you had done something right, at least pretend like you care about it.
Right.
Well, the latest thing that he said was that he created the best economic plan the world has ever seen.
Maybe.
And the only reason that things are faltering now is not his fault, but because of the pandemic.
Let me just say this. When you got to tell the president of the United States, when he said, the ingesting these
Bleach.
Disinfectants.
when he said that, let me just say this. When somebody tells you not to listen to the leader of the free world, you cannot say you're the most powerful nation on earth.
Right.
You can't say it.
You can't say it. Oh, hey, what's happening? Welcome back to D.O. Hughley Uncut.
Yeah.
Caught me off guard.
We're only doing TV.
I was daydreaming. I'm sorry.
We're only doing TV.
I was daydreaming.
It's uncut, these uncircumcised version of the show.
See, that's why I was daydreaming. Not about that, but
we're the turtle head version of the show.
Oh. That can't be we. That would be y'all.
So, Black J.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
I appreciate it.
You
man.
wasn't doing nothing else, bro.
Man, I was doing something. I was doing what everybody else was doing.
That we locked down in the house.
That's right. I was slinging these jokes one way or another.
You were sequestered at home, right?
Man, just trapped in the crib, man. Trying
you
to
can't
find
say
some way.
trapped in the crib.
I can say
Oh, you
trapped.
can.
I got a full family there. That is trapped,
See,
bro.
I like the honesty in that because
Yeah.
most people are pretending to be happy knowing that they are miserable.
Well, no, you can be happy and trapped.
You can be happy and trapped.
Okay, but tell the truth. Are you safer in the house or outside?
I'm glad I get my breaks out the house.
There you go. I'm just
I
asking.
promise you that.
Here's the thing.
Just saying.
You know that you're tired of being home when you're excited to go to work.
Oh yeah. I'm like, work? Hey, I'm early.
Man, if they had a Saturday shift, I'd be there so fast.
What about the honey-do list?
Oh, the honey-do
Are you
list
happy
is
to get
real.
on that?
Yeah, because I'm actually happy for him now because it gets me out the house.
Right.
I be looking for stuff to do. Like, I don't care what it is.
I became an alcoholic, so I go to them 12-step meetings. I'm just telling you. How come you're not home yet? I got 11 more steps. I can't.
Can't let them down.
So, everybody, it was funny because everybody got, there was a big stimulus package.
Right.
And Donald, everybody's getting these $1,200 checks unless you made a certain amount of money.
Right.
And Donald Trump, they were delayed a bit because Donald Trump insisted on putting his name on the checks, which is interesting because these might be the first series of checks that he ever signed that didn't bounce.
Right.
But a lot of people, you didn't get a stimulus check.
No, I didn't get one.
But you didn't get a stimulus check.
I didn't get a stimulus check.
We have a segment called Stem Cells.
Mm-hmm.
STIMSALES, stem cells, right? Where people got their stimulus checks, and we wanted to know how the other half lived, like what they spent them on.
Right. So yeah, it was quiet. I was just going through the phones and the social medias and stuff and figuring out who's there.
Right.
Because the way it came up is my son got a check, and the way that I found out.
Does he live with you?
Yeah, he lived with me.
How do you get a check?
Does he pay rent?
No, he don't pay no damn rent. That's the whole
He
point.
got $1,200.
Well, he got some rent money now. I found out just on the humbug because I was about to file, and he was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Before you do that, you might not want to put me as a dependent."
Wow.
Because I'm balling.
Let him live,
I'm rich,
Blackjack.
bitch.
I got
Let
it
him
all.
live. Let him live.
I ain't mad at him. He hustled me. I know where he got it from.
So what are some of the things that people have spent their stimulus checks on?
Here's what we found, man. Run that for me, Jeff.
Hi, this is Yuraku from Brooklyn, New York. I was able to do a couple of things with my stimulus check, thank God. I was able to pay my rent for next
Responsible.
month. I ordered
responsible.
a waist trainer.
A waist
I
trainer.
You gotta
ordered a
have
wig
that.
online that I'm still waiting
Gotta have
for.
that too.
And I ordered some fabric with my artwork printed on it so I can make homemade COVID-19 wigs for the community. So hopefully that falls through.
I got no problem.
And I also bought a little bit of bourbon. You can't go
yeah.
wrong with bourbon for this quarantine. So yeah, thank you. Bye.
I'm
mad at it.
balling.
Tom Segura here. I just wanted to let you know how I spent my stimulus check. I got that fat ass check from the government. I called my diamond dealer. I was like, yo, man,
Done.
check out all this money I got. He hung up. So I called my Porsche guy. And he hung up too. And then the only guy that was like down for that kind of money was my weed guy. So check this out, man. I got a bunch of edibles. Like a bunch.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat all these.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get so high that we'll be over this pandemic and there'll be a new one.
He might be upset when he finds out we're running out of food. Yeah.
Right. Well, he's right on point, man, because that's a comedian right there, and he got all of these edibles to help him out. You know the material that's gonna come out of all of this children.
I can imagine.
It's interesting because if your account, because a lot of people got. Kyle, did you you got your stimulus check, right?
Yes, I did.
When did you get it?
Got it about, I don't remember the exact date, but I got it about 2 weeks ago, maybe.
And what did you do with it?
Nothing.
Would you it's in your bank right now?
Yeah, I'm just holding it.
And
Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
you living at my house with you and your woman, right?
You won't let me leave.
Oh.
But you ain't bought no food or nothing? for
Yes,
that?
I have. What are you talking about?
But y'all vegans, we don't need that shit. We need some shit niggas
I
need.
just went to Target yesterday and got some paper towels and toilet paper.
Oh, see?
How did you find that?
Contributions.
your son, he didn't spend what did he spend his money on?
Oh man, I haven't seen a penny of that. I don't know where it is. He ain't been out the house to spend any money. So I just had to check the mailman. See, I'm here every day, so I don't know what Amazon bring during the day while I'm gone.
I don't want to be dismissive, but if you get $1,200, what you gonna buy? One rim? You gonna buy one like?
You buy what you can get. I know my son got $600 and $1,200.
And you ain't seen him.
I ain't seen him or the money. And I'm like, you owe me money. Give me a little bit.
I feel bad that I didn't get anything back.
What? You got us. Back. You got the show back.
Y'all nothing. Like Tyler, my daughter, she got her bread. She ain't seen me since. My son lived there with his girlfriend because we're all sequestering together. My father-in-law burned my house down. I know he got some money.
He got something somewhere.
Yeah. What would you have spent your money on?
$1,200, man. I'd have finished building my virtual stage in my house. Because we got to figure this out. I don't know when we're going to get back on the road, so I got to figure out a way to get these belts all in the house.
You could have a mic stand.
That's all I need with $1,200.
Welcome back to DL Hughley Uncut. Now, we have been waiting to talk to this guy. He has been fighting the big fight for our community, a renowned civil rights attorney representing families from Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Botham Jean. And, of course, I got to send love to him because he is also a member of my brotherhood, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. You know, the brothers of the Deltas. You know who it is. Please welcome to the show, Benjamin Crump.
How you doing, Brother Crump? How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, Brother DL. So good to see you and Jasmine. And thank you all for what you all do to uplift the culture.
Well,
now more than ever we need it.
We just talk shit, but you
you do the real work.
you fight a lot of fights that society is not used to you winning or doesn't particularly want you to. Championing the voiceless is kind of a thankless job. Why? I mean, I know you're an Omega man, and that is your stated mission to the uplift of people. But you fight fights knowing that the odds are stacked against you. Why?
You know, DL, Thurgood Marshall was my personal hero. He's the reason why I became an attorney. And people don't remember how hard it was before Thurgood Marshall got to Brown versus the Board of Education. I mean, going in the Deep South, going in Texas, I mean, being threatened with your life, literally, trying to say that little black children and little white children should be able to go to school together. And people often forget that part of the journey. They only want to see the victory. But without struggle, there can be no progress, as Frederick Douglass said.
But why the justice in America seems so tinged, and I think it can make. I have no problem admitting that I have a lot of cynicism associated with it. I watch what happened with Trayvon Martin. I watch what happened with Michael Brown. I watch what happened. You represent the families in Flint.
That's right.
What is it that we're going to have to do to introduce America to the probably new fact that we are just as human, just as fallible as anyone else, and deserve just the same amount of respect and empathy and compassion as anybody else?
You know, a lot of it, DL, is what we did with Trayvon, and your voice was as strong as anybody else when we were fighting that journey before people started even acknowledging that Black Lives Matter. You know, for 400 years, they've been killing Black people and nobody being held accountable. Nobody even being able to have any kind of justice, whether in the criminal court or the civil court. Now they will give us money in the civil court, but they never want to send anybody to jail because they don't want to send that message that the police can't do historically what they have always done in America, and that is to be the slave catchers, to provide the status quo. But the one thing I will say to you and Jasmine and all your audience, the reason I remain optimistic is I think about the precedents. When you go to law school, the first thing they teach you is about precedents. You always have to follow precedents. You always have to follow precedents. Now, I don't agree with that because the one time I met Thurgood Marshall, the first time I met him at the Supreme Court, he told us little black students that you know, when you go in the courtroom, you argue what's right. He didn't say argue what they teach us in law school, saying argue precedents. But if we're going to take that law school lesson, the precedence is this for Black people in America. We have overcame everything they threw at us. I mean, they threw slavery, we overcame that. They threw Jim Crow, we overcame that. They threw separate but equal. They threw the Middle Passage. I mean, when you think about what our ancestors had to endure to overcome the Middle Passage, to overcome being in those slave castles, waiting for the ship for 3 or 4 months, sleeping on top of each other, the reason we now have diabetes and glaucoma. I know that we can overcome anything. And so America is going to have to acknowledge the humanity, but also the perseverance in us more than anything else. I have a big case, DL, that hopefully I'll get to talk to you and Jasmine about. We're doing something with Netflix on it called Free Rented, the Harvard reparation case.
I remember that, yeah. You know what's interesting? You said what you're taught in law school as a lawyer. I thought it was, that's going to be 33 1/3. I thought that was going to be the first thing.
That comes later.
I'm glad we won. Where my money? I thought that was.
I will offer this admission, dear. That 33 1/3 to then go do some good work. You know, that's
Listen, I got you off. I'm gonna need my money, nigga. I'm gonna need that. I need it. You are involved. It's so interesting because I've got a chance to talk to you on several occasions, and I'm a cynic, and I won't pretend like I'm not. But I'm a cynicism, I'm a cynic in the sense that I believe that I remember watching a movie called Blackfish. And it was about killer whales and how they were caught in captivity. And it was about how they showed the plight of the killer whale and what happened to it and how it was demoralized and how when its dorsal fin was hanging to the side and how it acted the way it did because it was taken out of its environment. And do you know that as a result of that documentary, Blackfish, or that movie Blackfish, they closed down SeaWorld, all of the aquarium, you know, the aquarium of the parks across the country were closed down because it changed their policies because they saw something in a black fish that they do not see in a black man or a black woman or a black child, and it is galling to me that we can't even get. There are animals that you can legally hunt, that get afforded more rights and empathy and sympathy than black men, women, and children.
No question, DL. In fact, you know, I have the book Open Season to Legalize.
I got a chance to read that.
Colored people. And what I argue in that book a lot is the fact that the laws that allegedly were meant to protect us, they use to kill us. And the reality is this, Jasmine, that 1 out of every 5 black men in states like Florida and Georgia, Tennessee, Texas are convicted.
The places where they love God the most, right? The places where they're the most Christian. The places where they claim.
So they say.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But they are 1 out of 5 black men are convicted felons. The experts opine, if this trend continues, in the next 25 years, 1 out of every 3 black men in America will be convicted felons. And so as I go talk at universities across the country and civic groups, I often say to the audience, now imagine, because a lot of them can't fathom my experience, DL, I say to a lot of those young white faces and those people who are going to be in leadership positions in the future and some people already in power, imagine if you are a parent of a black male son, and imagine if you are a parent of a black male nephew. Imagine if you have a black male cousin, and imagine in your mind's eye that they're about 4, 5, 6 years old, and they're all playing, and you have watched them at play as children often do, and try to sit there and figure out in the next 10 to 20 years which one of those little boys with your blood running through their veins are going to be defined as a convicted felon and live a permanent life as an underclass citizen in America, never getting the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of consideration, and the benefit of possibility, because that is the black reality in America. And
I would say this, Mr. Crump. I would say this, that you talked about states, the Texases, the Georgias, the Alabamas. Well, they're in the SEC, so those white women won't have to imagine that long.
Oh, my God.
That's about to be a reality right after this draft.
But you know what's interesting to me, though? You talked a little bit earlier about precedent. And my issue with that, I know it's a very important term, but when you look at it in terms of how it relates to us as a black community, the precedent was different, right? It was set really with Emmett Till, right? It showed how undervalued our lives are as black people in the streets. So you look at now, followed that with all of the cases, including Trayvon Martin, including Michael Brown, including Botham Jean, where someone went into his home and killed him, but yet no justice. It's the same thing. So for me, I wonder, how do you go into a court of law and argue, the reverse of what precedent should be for us?
But, again, you go to Thurgood Marshall and what he did. Thurgood Marshall literally was arguing to the Supreme Court something that had never existed ever in life. Equality and emancipation for black people. And Jasmine, you said Emmett Till. The precedence goes back to the Dred Scott decision.
True. Dred Scott decision.
The United States Supreme Court said there are no rights that a black man has that a white man is bound to respect.
Yeah.
And so you go in the courtroom quite honestly and you say to yourself, what am I fighting for? I have a 7-year-old daughter, Brooklyn, who I'm fighting for. And you literally have to put it in your head, despite all the laws that are set to keep us as permanent underclass citizens, you have to say, what am I fighting for? It's better to strike a match than curse the darkness, because we can't give up on our future. Our children
it is one of the things I've always respected about you. I'm going to throw out some cases potentially that I know you're involved in, and I want you to tell me a couple of things. Why you did it, and what you believe or hope that the outcome is. And I'm not talking about like win, lose, but what do you hope? You represent a bunch of families in Flint, right?
Yes.
And that was an example of Governor Snyder was a businessman, right? And I think every time, listen, when you put a businessman in office, he's going to do exactly what they do. I'm going to make money for people who fuck with me.
Right.
Damn everybody else. That's really it. And that's an example of why did you take the fight with the Flint residents, and what do you hope the outcome is?
Very honestly, DL, I grew up with a single mother. She raised 3 boys. We lived in the government housing project in North Carolina. And I often think, but by the grace of God, there go I. I mean, these are children, and I don't know if people understand how dire the situation is in Flint. The fact that when you are exposed to lead poisoning, it stunts the brain development.
Absolutely.
So,
and they end up in prison most of the time.
Exactly. And that you hit it right on the point, DL. I mean, you must have went to law school, because
nah, he didn't do that.
Black people have mental health issues. They don't treat them like mental health issues.
They treat them like convicts.
Criminal in issues. And so the one thing I will say is this: when we think about, they poison the entire community in Flint, Michigan. Governor Snyder and these emergency management people, and it is now known that they knew changing that water supply was going to expose this whole majority minority community, and they did it anyway for a fistful of dollars. And now you think about all the black people who are still sitting in prison today for selling marijuana, some of them for life. And you get to see the hypocrisy in America that they kept saying to us, DL, we got to lock them up and throw away the key. We got to send a message, because they poisoning the community. They will say that every time they locked up a little black or brown person. And then we come to Flint, Michigan, where they actually poison the entire community, and nobody goes to prison. It's racism, is no justification of it.
Let me ask you something. You also the Johnson & Johnson case, where one thing that why this was particularly sensitive to me. So a lot of women, particularly Southern women, and we all came from the South, use powder on
Black women.
private parts.
Yeah, under your boobs, you do it.
And one of the reasons they did it.
It's true.
One of the reasons they did it was because they didn't want anybody to think they were
That's right.
There was a whole psychological thing that this industry inflicted on them, making them. They didn't want. I want. So they attached it with cleanliness and inferiority, and it really cost a lot of black people their life. And now a lot of people are suing those people and recouping a lot of money, and black people don't seem to understand that you're old part of that. So tell us a little bit about, expound on that for me.
Yeah, it's kind of deep, DL, because, Malcolm X said that TV is one of the most powerful drugs ever created. He said that it can control your subconscious thoughts with you not even realizing what you're thinking.
Right.
Well, marketing is the same way. I mean, Johnson & Johnson for years pushed this, whether it was at the Essence Festival and the magazine.
Latin women also, too.
Yeah, and Latin women and obese women.
Yes.
They kept saying you have to be fresh. You have to be fresh. So my mother, my cousin, they would pack it down there like cake almost to say they wanted to be fresh because it had been put in our brain through marketing. And then the white women, it came out in the mid-90s that, there was a causal connection between ovarian cancer and talcum powder that is in baby powder in Johnson & Johnson. White women said, hey, we're not going to use it if it's causing cancer. But when they did their marketing and their research, Johnson & Johnson's found that there wasn't a drop-off amongst African Americans and Hispanics. And so what did they do? They doubled their efforts on marketing to us. I mean, they started being major sponsors of festivals and concerts that focus on black people. And so now you have many of our mothers, our aunts, our sisters who now have ovarian cancer, but because there's such a distrust with the legal system, they won't come forward. Our law firm is one of the few black law firms that are doing these cases. And we had a major victory yesterday, DL. Johnson & Johnson up in New Jersey, and that's where they're headquartered at, $120 billion corporation. The judge ruled that the cases could go forward. And so now it is really important that if you have a loved one or family member who has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, have them call us. And it's not just for the 33 and the third, DL.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Now, I must read the disclaimer one more time. We want to welcome the global worldwide audience on GFNTV, and please be aware that by entering this area, you consent to your voice, name, and or likeness being used without compensation in films and tapes for exploitation in any and all media, whether now known or hereafter devised for eternity, and you release WGFN-TV, its successors, assigns and licensees from any liability whatsoever of any nature. Do not enter this area if you do not wish to be the subject of the foregoing and be seen by our global friends that love jazz all over the planet. So let's welcome them in. Give them a hand, St. Louis. Welcome all our friends in. We're streaming live on GFN-TV. Give it up, St. Louis, give it up. Yeah. All right. Yes. We don't want the global audience to know St. Louis is asleep at the festival. They say, well, they have neck bones and barbecue ribs, biscuits and cornbread.
Did you say neck bones? Did you say neck bones?
Girl, don't start me up now. I'm from Kansas. I'm country Kansas, okay? I really am from Kansas. Now, we want to say thank you to Moscato Light, our sponsors, WFSK, Jazzy 88, WFSK. Umbrellas about to pop down, please. Umbrellas down. Get your food, get your drink, get your spot, get yourself ready. And are y'all ready for Najee? Are you ready for Najee? Are you ready for Najee? Are you ready for Najee? He's in the back. He can't hear that, y'all. Are you ready for Najee? Are you ready, y'all? We got 30-some years of hits coming now out of this man. Are you ready for Najee? All right, coming to the stage, live and in color. Let's welcome the one and only Mr. Contemporary Jazz himself, the one and only Najee!
Or confident of Almighty God.
Gateway. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? I don't hear you. How y'all doing? How's everybody in the back doing? Y'all ready to help me out right here? Everybody put your hands together. Come on. Sean Northern. Thank you so much. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I want to thank you all for coming out and supporting live music, all right? How about a nice round of applause for all my friends? I don't get to see them often. All right, Mr. Brian Simpson, Mr. Kelly Minucci, all right? And so many others. Oh, Mr. Nick Coleon, of course, Mr. Steve Cole, all our good friends back there. Come on, let them feel you back there. They back there. Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here. It's been some time since I've been to the Missouri area. I know, right? It's been a while. I don't know why we get to Chicago, we get to Kansas City. We haven't been here in a while. It's nice to be here, though. Thank you. And then in my allotted time, I'm trying to do as many songs from my previous albums as I can, all right? All right. So with that being said, if you will promise to sing along with me on some of these things, we're going to take you back. Is that all right? Are you ready? I still don't hear you back there. What? You know, I'm from New York, man. You got to show me. Or is that here? Right? All right, here we go, y'all. Come on. time with us so far? All right, we'll take it back. We're going to a song for a very special lady. She's not my ex-wife, but she got the house, I got the song. You know what's up. Mind if I take a break from the soprano saxophone, D? Play a little flute for you. Y'all might know this one. Everybody in the back. right? I want to take a minute to recognize a couple of people in the house. I'm very fortunate to have my daughter here tonight, Salima. She's around here. I don't know where she's sitting. She's here with her husband. Where are you at, daughter? Over there. Oh, hey! What's up, sweetie? And then my son is sitting next to her, Fareed. He's next there, right there. And that's her husband over there. All right, fellas, so don't even try. And they moved here about a year ago to the St. Louis area, so if you see them in Starbucks, don't trip. Anyway, this next song I'm going to do, I'm obligated to do it. I wrote this song many years ago on an album called Just an Illusion. Y'all know it? Okay. And I wrote it for my other son, Noah, who's now almost 28 years old. And but since that time, I've had the pleasure of playing this for several people around the world. But this evening, I'd like to dedicate this to a few of my friends who passed on. As a matter of fact, I have a new record coming out on August 25th called Poetry in Motion. And thank you. I'm very proud of this record, too, because we have my first single was released last week, and I hear it's doing very well. There's a song called Let's Take It Back, which features Incognito as my backup band. Can you get that one, right? Also on there we have Mesa. Mesa is doing something with me. Will Downing. He did a song with me that Al Jarreau and I had started to record, but then, Al got sick, and you know the rest of the story. So we ended up recording the song and making it a dedication to Al Jarreau and Prince. That's what we did, called We'll Be Missing You. And, of course, who else is on there? Oh, Eric Roberson is on there as well with me. And the legendary pianist, Mr. Bobby Lyle. And the smooth jazz guitarist by the name of Blake Aaron is also on there with me. So it's a very full album, It's one of those type things that I called up everybody and I said, listen, we need to do something. I didn't expect everybody to show up on one record. So when it comes out August 25th, that's what y'all going to get, all right? But with that being said, I'd like to just dedicate this next song to two people I've had the pleasure of touring all over the world with. One is, as you know, was Prince. Toured with him for 3 years and was a great experience. And, anytime I do press and people want to hear Prince stories, I always say, I have no bad Prince stories. All this drug stuff they're talking about, I never saw any of that. He was one of the most humble, one of the most generous human beings I ever met in my life, honestly, and I mean that, Also, Mr. Al Jarreau, we miss him as well. So this song is called Noah's Ark.
Come on, y'all, give it up for Najee. Yeah. Shut it up. He shut it down. He shut St. Louis down. Bam. Knocked y'all out real good, didn't they? Najee, the man. Give it up for the band. The band. Woo. Now, may I ask, are y'all having fun yet? Finally, thank you. Don't let me get happy out here. We have a perfect day. We have an inaugural festival. We have great entertainment. We have the world's greatest jazz fans, all right? What else could y'all ask for? Yeah. Are you happy now? All right. Coming to the stage. I want you to show your love. And I told y'all early on, there's no charge for applause, okay? It's the only thing still free in our country, for real. Please, but the band members, oh man, he's bad. Give him a hand, y'all. Now, I really want y'all to give some thunder love to my brother. Now, you see, you know I'm dangerous on the mic, don't you know? To Mr. Somerset Jazz. He had a dream. Yes, he did. She said, Sharon K., would you stop? I can't help it. He had a dream. He said, Sharon, I think about St. Louis. I'm like, huh? Last year, he said, I'm thinking about St. Louis. Okay, and I was...
Hi, I'm Salome. So today I'll be preparing you one of my favorite dish, Italian dish. So I'm gonna start with the sauce. Usually in Italy, the first things they do make their sauce. So I'm gonna show to you how to make Italian delicious sauce. So I have my onion, chops, and garlic. This one here, got my pan, and put the onions first, and then garlic. Then I'll grab my olive oil. Add a little bit of olive oil. The Italians, they love olive oil. I love olive oil. It's good for you. Just a little bit. Put back the olive oil. Yeah, when I used to live in Italy, this is what I used to make always. So, yeah. I have that. This. Mix. In the meantime, I'm gonna. So one thing about the Italian is they don't just make the pasta. They have to have first course, and second course is always appetizer. So I'm gonna show you how to make bruschetta, and here in America they call it bruschetta, but actually it's bruschetta. So I'm gonna put my fried pasta for 3 seconds. I'm gonna wait for that. In the meantime, for second course, I'm gonna start with chicken. I'm gonna season my chicken, always with olive oil. I used to do this when I was in Italy. I learned so much from the Italian. So add always garlic, it's good for you. Then rosemary, I love rosemary. Okay, and a little bit. Thyme, just a little bit. Then I'm gonna check on my onions for the sauce. So I have that all mixed. Now I have my tomato sauce already here. So you're gonna add that on the pan. Oh, that's good. We'll mix this. In the meantime, I have the the water here for the pasta. Wait on that. I have the pasta ready. Yep, bread is ready. We're gonna add more than one bread. Okay. Chicken is seasoned. So you have to turn the chicken. You have to do the other side also. Ready. Now, then put the pasta. Okay. And you mix your pasta. Let that cook. You just check on the pasta every second. Now put the olive oil the other side of the chicken. Just a little bit. Now this is my favorite part. The Italian, they always use seasoning. So just a little bit oregano. That's that. Garlic powder. I love garlic powder. The Italian, of course, they use garlic powder. I used to do that when I was in Italy, especially when I was visiting Amalfitane Coast, Positano. It's fresh, it's easy to make, especially summertime. That's that. Okay, I'm gonna check all my sauce over here. Almost ready. Check on my pasta. I noticed that here in the US, the people, they put oil in the pasta so it doesn't stick, but the Italian, they don't. So I do it Italian way because that's where I learned. That's how I learned to make the pasta. In the meantime, we will have a cheese, Parmigiano cheese over here. My favorite cheese, I love cheese. Of course, the Italian, they are well known for cheese. My bread is ready. There you go. We add one more for the bruschetta. So I have my cheese. I'm gonna make this for the bruschetta. They use the mozzarella cheese to make bruschetta, but I like the Parmigiano cheese because I like the dryness. Tastes very good. Then now I make a different way. So gotta have tomato to make bruschetta. I have that ready here. Then I have to slide my tomato around. This is actually used to be my snack when I was in Italy, Milan. So I went to school and I studied in Italy for fashion and merchandise. And this was very simple and easy to make. So I used to literally make this almost every day because I was a student. You know, I don't have a lot of time to make other stuff. And so I've got my bread ready. So what you do is grab your tomato, put it over here. It's very simple and delicious. Sit down like this. We have that. So now we're gonna add olive oil again. Olive oil for Italian household is like having all the seasoning and everything you need. You must have olive oil. And then I add a little bit of black pepper, just a little bit, not too much, because it has that taste. I'm showing you a different way to make bruschetta. Okay, I'm gonna grab my cheese and then add the cheese on the bread and tomato. Look at that. That looks yummy. That's that. Let me check on the pasta. Because the pasta, always the Italian, they're like al dente, not super quick. Okay, that's almost ready. Then I'm gonna check on my sauce. The sauce is ready. Perfect. That's done. Now, in the time I'm waiting for the pasta, I'm gonna come back to my chicken. I'm gonna start with the chicken. I have my pan ready. Then we're gonna wait just for a few minutes, get a little warmer. In the meantime, one more thing I have to add on the bruschetta is anchovy. Not a lot of people like anchovy, but of course this is Italian meal today, so I have to put the anchovy. The bread and the cheese. You can always remove the anchovy. I know it's too salty if you don't like it, but I love it. Very good. That's that. Now, what I have here is I have honey. So you wouldn't think you can add honey. Just a little bit. A little bit on the top of the cheese. Like some people, if they're on diet, they might not want to eat the bread. So what they do is they put the honey in the cheese. You see? You just eat it. But of course, I love the bread, so I'll eat with the bread. We're gonna check the pan for the chicken. Yep, that's warm. Now, look how seasoned it is. Gonna come over here. Put the chicken. Yeah, gotta get that. Yeah. Then you always mix it with the leftover the oil. Yeah. Gonna just like that. I'm gonna take on my pasta. That's that. In the meantime, now I have the chicken, the pasta, the bruschetta almost ready. So in the meantime, I'm gonna work on my salad. And Italian house, you always find wine all the time. First, I'm gonna triple my chicken. Oh yeah. There you go. This is looking good. That's good. We got salad. Always olive oil. Like I said, the Italian. I use olive oil all the time. Now, gotta add black pepper on the salad. Mix my salad. So I put olive oil with pepper. Alright, I have my salad. I already have olive oil, black pepper, and then my favorite part, berbere. A little spice, you just add a little bit, don't need too much. They love spicy to the Italian, I'm telling you. And garlic powder, just a little bit garlic powder. There you go. And vinegar, of course. Just a vinegar, here you go. Now you have to know one thing, not one thing, a lot of things about Italian. They don't eat just one thing. So they have to have, like I said, the appetizer, the first course, and then secondo. Secondo means like, will be the chicken secondo, and then salad always, and bread, and a glass of wine or two. So mix the salad. I have my salad ready. I'm gonna check on my pasta. Pasta is ready. Oh yeah, pasta is ready. I'm gonna turn this off. Get my pasta. go. Then that's ready. Okay. That's ready. I'm gonna bring my plate with the pasta. Got sauce ready. I'm gonna add the pasta here. All the pasta. Now, the sauce is ready. So what you do is very easy, simple. Just add your sauce on the pasta, and then you mix it together. And always with the pasta, you have to have Parmesan cheese. That's good. Look at that. Can I add a little bit more? So you that's that. And lastly, I'm gonna check on my chicken. Go nice and brown. Chicken is ready. Okay, off. So we have pretty much everything ready. So I prepare bruschetta, and then I have the salad, the pasta, and the chicken. So everything I prepare now, it took about 20 minutes. And it's very easy, healthy, just like the Italian, they always go to the fresh market, get all the fresh stuff. So that's what we did. We have salad, bruschetta, pasta, and chicken, just like Italian style at my kitchen. This has been home cooking with me, Salome. Ciao! Hello, I'm Salome. Today, I'll be preparing you Ethiopian food, an American style. So I have lentil, cabbage, collard green, we call it in Ethiopia, gomme. I have tomato salad. I have pita bread right here. Usually we use injera in Ethiopia. So I usually kind of mix it up, multicultural. So we're gonna start with the lentil. So I'm gonna put the garlic first. Everybody does it a different way. And then you add a little bit of onions for the lentil. And then oil. I love using avocado oil. It's super healthy, super delicious. Oh, perfect. Then we're gonna start. Okay. So just kind of stir the garlic and onions together. Just gonna wait for a few minutes until it gets very heat. And then I'll come over here, grab my lentil. So all you have to do is just add lentil without making a mess. And then you stir together. Now, everybody in Ethiopia, they make the lentil a different way. But this is the way I like to make my lentil. Then all you have to do, add a little bit of water. Just a little bit. You don't want to burn. And then mix it together. And then of course my favorite part, the spicy part, the red pepper. In Ethiopia we call it berbere. Got my berbere right here. So now this is for American taste, so I'm not going to put a lot of pepper, just a little bit. Look at that. That in here. Then mix it. Okay. Add a little bit more water. There you go. So lentil, usually in Ethiopia, we eat it during fasting time. But I make lentil in the house 3 times a week at least. So let that cook. Then close that. So I have pre-chopped my cabbage. It's already ready. So I'm gonna start with your cabbage first in the pan. I do it completely different way. Because in Ethiopia, first of all, they have the garlic, onion first, and then the cabbage. But I do it the other way around. That's how I like it. And then I'll come over here. Just a little onions. Of course, I'm making always a mess. There you go. That's that. And always olive oil, avocado. There you go. That's enough. Look at there. Then, of course, a little bit burberry. So, I love seasoning. It tastes really, really delicious. That's good there. And then we put the top. I'm gonna let that cook for about 10 minutes. Yeah, that. And then I'm gonna check on my lentil. Oh yeah, almost ready. Smells really good. So I have my lentil, my cabbage. Then I'm gonna come over here, grab my collard green, which we call it in Ethiopia, gome. I have my pot ready. I'm gonna put the gome, the collard green first. Right here. Then a little bit of onion, always. This is Ethiopian way, I'm sure you guys will make it a different way. That's that. I'm gonna grab my avocado oil. Add avocado oil. Right back here. Then you have to add water. Here. Now, I have to put seasoning. So I got my ginger powder. Just a little bit for the taste. Just a little bit. It's really good. Then I have my organic black pepper. Sorry, it's basil. This is black pepper now. Just add a little bit. It's delicious. When you season, I season everything, all my food. That's that. You come over here. Mix all that together. Mix that. And now, okay, that's that. And then you put the top. That took about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna check on the lentil. Okay. That's that. Let the lentil cook a little bit more, and then I'm gonna start with my lamb. All right. I'm gonna season my lamb. So we eat lamb in Ethiopia. We call it bag saga. It's really good. But a fasting season, of course, no meat. And Wednesday and Friday, we don't eat meat. Just fasting. do the lentil, the cabbage, the collard green, gum, all that good stuff. And if you're not meat eater, so you have all those green stuff. A little bit more, yeah. And then I always remove the fat, but I don't like that part. This is completely a different way I'm gonna season. Now I'm gonna pick my pot over here and put my lamb on the pad. With that, remove that over there. Put the lamb over here. Now I'm gonna season my lamb. Always onions. Look at that. Onions. Pepper. Black pepper. A little bit oregano. It's really good. And then a little bit of the ginger powder. And then I'm gonna go over here, get my barberry. Of course, it's all about our spicy food seasoning. So I don't want to put too much because my American friend, they have to taste this delicious lamb. Now, look at this jalapeno. It's ቃሪያ in Ethiopia, we call it. We love ቃሪያ. I'm gonna put just a little bit. This is for American taste, so I don't want anybody to complain. But I'm gonna put this towards the end. So I have that ready. Then I'll grab my avocado oil, mix it with the lamb, onions, and the barberry. Add a little bit more. Doesn't hurt. Now, see this? It's all seasoned, looking good. What I'll do is use my hands to mix it. Look at that. This is how I do it. Everybody in Ethiopia, they do it different way. I just feel like it's all mixed and seasoned together. Now, with my hand, I'm gonna come over here. The lentil's already ready. So I'll move the lentil. I have my lamb right here. Okay, let's say my lamb over here. I'm gonna reduce a little bit the temperature. Yeah. I'm gonna let this cook for 15 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna clean up this mess over here. Put that there. Then I have my tomato salad. But first, sip of wine. All right, I'm gonna make a tomato salad now. I have my tomato already washed, ready. All this stuff we use in fasting season, but you can also make it all the time. Super healthy, delicious, good for you. Right. Now, the jalapeno pepper or the ቃሪያ I said earlier, I was going to use it for lamb. I will use it for lamb, also for the tomato salad. So, the tomato over here. Okay. I have that. It's ready. Plates. What you do is you put the tomato, the plates over here, and then I'll use the jalapeno or the ቃሪያ. This is the tomato. That's it. And you add a little bit of carrot, not too much. And then of course seasoning, the most important things. We'll start with black powder. There you go. I said black powder, it's black pepper. And then my favorite, a little bit barberry. Just a little bit, not too much. And that oregano. Just a little bit. Just for the taste. And then the ginger powder. It's super delicious. It's really good. Ginger is good for you. Now, I'm gonna grab my spoon. Just you mix it all together. Look at that. I'm gonna add one more thing. This is the trick on tomato salad. You have that avocado. I love avocado. In Ethiopia, avocado, we don't just eat it, we put it in our hair and our face. So it's good for beauty also, not just for cooking. But I'm gonna check on my lamp. Oh yeah. Almost ready. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Gourmet, almost ready. Gotta check on my cabbage. Can't forget my cabbage. Oh yeah, it's really good. Yep. Almost ready. Let me try. Gotta taste it. That's good. So now that you're ready, I have my rosemary over here, but I'm gonna use it on the lamp. We call it tips. That's almost when it's a little bit ready, so you add the rosemary. But in the meantime, I'm gonna finish up my tomato salad. To clean up all this mess over here. There you go. Then cut my avocado. Slice my avocado. How about this? The easy way, without hurting myself. Okay. There you go. Took that part. Usually take the dark part. Okay. So what you do is you just chop it very small pieces. And you put the tomato over here. And mix it all together. So tomato salad is already ready. So we're good now. So I'm gonna check on my lamp, my gourmet, collard green, and then my cabbage. It's almost ready. My lamb is cooking. Yep. Almost ready. Now I'm gonna add the rosemary. From here, grab a few. The tips. Tips means it's a lamb stew. What you do is just go like that. You can add as much as you want. Hey, might as well throw on. It's really good. I like rosemary. I promise it's really delicious. Good. Look at that. How's the gourmet? Okay. Pretty much everything almost ready. So now I have my pita bread. So like I said earlier, we normally use injera. So we don't have injera. This is for American taste. I'm gonna have the pita. So all the food I made, the lentil, the gourmet, the collard green, the cabbage, the tomato salad, and the lamps too, all together. Ethiopian food, American style. This has been Home Cooking with me, Salome. Thanks for watching.